Dad, I'm here. Now what's this about Russian medals?
Well, I got this letter in the post today. It's a long story. Have you time? As you know, your grandfather died in the Second World War, but Mum wouldn't talk about his time in the war. It upset her too much. It all started in Westeros, in the Highlands of Scotland, which is quiet and peaceful now. But over 70 years ago, it was bristling with military activity, especially at Loch Ewe. It was all very hush-hush as the loch was used as a secret base for the famous Arctic Convoys, which often held hundreds of ships at a time. Apparently, the Soviet Union was besieged by German forces, and the Allies could only get vital supplies into the northern Russian ports by sea. So Loch Ewe was used as a base for what was known as one of the most brutal and perilous missions of the Second World War. Mum said he had a tough time, with only short breaks living in one of the farmhouses which we used as barracks. It was a big complex, with lookout stations, huts for storing ammunition, and because of the secrecy, locals had to carry special passes. In fact, there still remains around the shores of Loch Ewe a series of decaying concrete gun emplacements and bomb shelters. They are now a blot on the beautiful landscape, but do show a bitter reminder of the horrors of war. I found out from the battery war diaries that guns were fired only a few times each month, usually at reconnaissance planes. It's a sobering place. As I said, it was tough for the sailors. Ships were very vulnerable to enemy attack, and for hundreds of men who made the ultimate sacrifice, the cold grey water of the North Atlantic is now their resting place. It makes me shudder to think of Dad in those seas. Conditions were atrocious, with towering seas and howling winds. Freezing spray would accumulate as thick ice on the ship's rails. If a vessel was torpedoed, there was no chance of survival. It only took 2 minutes before a man perished. Over 3,000 men lost their lives, and over 100 ships went down. Horrifying, isn't it? When the convoys stopped, just before the Germans' surrender in April 1945, Loch Ewe became the marshalling point for many of the surrendered German U-boats. But it is now used as a fuel depot and for berthing of nuclear submarines. And the only memory of this bitter campaign is a memorial which stands beside Loch Ewe to all the sailors who lost their lives to the convoys. Mum thought a memorial was not enough for what they did, and said, "Is that all the recognition they get?" Well, people have been campaigning for years to have the convoy veterans honoured in some way, and finally it's happened. The sailors can now be awarded the prestigious Russian Ushakov Medal, and I have been invited to collect this medal for my dear Dad. Brilliant, isn't it? It's a shame your Gran is not here now to see her beloved Jack honoured for what Churchill called the worst journey in the world.